what was your reaction when you heard the news?
Well, I did represent the family of Nicole Brown Simpson, may she rest in peace, during the criminal trial, and of course supported them afterwards. In the civil case that was filed and followed the criminal case, a civil jury found him to be liable, responsible for the death of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. My heart does go out to the children, Justin and Sydney, and to the brave family of Nicole Brown Simpson, who really had to suffer so much during both trials and thereafter. But O.J. Simpson is dead, and perhaps now the victims can finally rest in peace. But the truth is known, really, by almost all of us, and that will never be erased, and that will never be forgotten.
Is there some good that came from the public discourse coming from this trial that we can learn from and be better because of?
Well, Jason, I do think that's an important point. And, you know, the power of the women's movement, the power of women and battered women to say we're not going to be silent anymore, and that the system has to change, and there has to be real consequences for men, whether they're celebrity men or not, or sometimes celebrity women, but mostly celebrity men who inflict violence on their partners or spouses. The narrative, of course, in the criminal case was that somehow he was being singled out because of his race, because he was a powerful and successful African-American man. So the issue of domestic violence, violence against women, became kind of a footnote in all of that. But now we realize that these kinds of cases are not about racial injustice. And I have done many, many cases involving victims of racial discrimination. This was not that. This was about gender violence. This was about a man in power who was abusing his power over his wife and then ex-wife. Justice is overdue, and also we should learn from all that. Hopefully, we can have a better justice system in the future, especially for victims.
When I started here, Johnnie Cochran was very well respected. He was seen as a very competent attorney in LA, and over the course of about a 2-year period, he went from being, you know, just a kind of an above average lawyer to a national icon. He was someone that had achieved legendary status very quickly. And what we saw working here was we were kind of working in obscurity for so many years. And then when this happened, everyone was watching everything that we were doing. He was more, his consciousness was more focused on trying to tear down the walls that we create as a society. He was one of the pioneers in police misconduct litigation. And he spent his entire life trying to just level the playing field. And this case, which captured his entire life for about a 9-month period, it's like a 9-month trial, it came to define the public's perception. And I like the choice of words that you used. People have, I believe you said, complicated feelings when it comes to Mr. Cochran. And I think that as controversial as all of these issues may be, they're uniquely American.
Can you talk for a bit about the legacy of that trial? DNA evidence, for example, was something that was really coming into its own during that period of time. Talk about, if you would, what that trial meant to the legal profession.
Well, I think that the trial and the situation, it starkly put into focus a lot of elephants in the room that we weren't really comfortable with talking about. And I'm talking about issues of race. I'm talking about issues of social injustice that predated that trial by hundreds of years. This is a situation that kind of just brought everything to a head in a very focused situation. But when we think about where we are today, some 3 decades later, we have to ask ourselves, really, why are we paying so much attention to this? Why isn't this just another homicide, or double homicide, I should say? Why isn't it just another case? And it's because of those divisions. It's because of those elephants in the room that we don't like to talk about. It's because of issues of race. And a lot of these things in terms of the way the LAPD handled the case were bringing up injustices in the minds of many people that had existed long before this case.